Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Listen, glad to have you guys here. Today is September 9th. It's a Monday, and let's get started. Let's open up the charts right here and take a look at this. You know what? The Chinese racked up a huge debt back pre-communist. In the pre-communist era, this debt goes all the way back to 1911, It says President Donald Trump's next move in the increasingly fraught trade war with China could be one for the history books, literally. The Trump administration has been studying the unlikely prospect of reviving century-old claims on Chinese bonds sold before the founding of the Communist People's Republic. The defaulted Chinese bonds can be found in attics and basements of thousands of Americans. So we're holding these bonds. Some of them have been sold on eBay as collectibles, but they're real bonds for a railway that China put in way back, I guess, in 1911, and they've never been paid. And of course, the value of money has changed over the years. Well, guess how much the total of all these bonds and stuff now, I guess, are worth? Is around $1 trillion. Believe it or not, $1 trillion, okay? But that's how many bonds that China now is holding, the United States Treasury bonds. So, we're going to have to watch this situation. But, if they force Beijing to make good on this, it could be like a tit for tat situation. Well, anyway, Chinese exports to the United States are absolutely tanking in August. The trade war has intensified, and exports from the United States tanked 16% in August. Now, Chinese imports of United States goods are tanking by 22%. These are absolutely huge, humongous numbers. This is going to affect world trade, global trade. It's going to affect this global slowdown that's already in place. And we haven't actually seen the numbers come in of what the effects are actually going to be to the overall economy yet, But this could be really huge coming up very soon. Now, let's switch over and talk about the Brexit situation just for a second before I get into the actual prices of everything this morning and get into the first thing I'm going to start with is gold. But let's talk about Boris Johnson. They've got a recess now to the British Parliament. They basically closed until, I think it's October 14th they reopen. Anyway, October 29th is the deadline for Brexit. And they're only going to have a matter of days left. You can count how many days on your fingers, probably. How many days they got left, Well, maybe using a few toes, too. But you can count how many days they have left once they reconvene, in October. They're going to be staring headfirst at the deadline for the Brexit, And there's going to be an awful lot of squabbles and stuff, but I don't think they have enough time then to get anything done when they reconvene. The one thing that they have asked for is for Boris Johnson to go over and ask for an extension from the European Union. He's already said he doesn't want to do that, But let's just say he did do that. Let's just for argument's sake, let's say what if Boris Johnson went and said, okay, give us an extension. There's no guarantee that the European Union's going to give any more extensions. In fact, they're going to be very hesitant to give an extension at this point. And, there's only going to be days left. I think this is when the real crisis is going to start to hit the world, when the financial markets suddenly realize, hey, Brexit's real, and we're heading right toward it, and there's nothing to stop it now at this point. And I think that time's coming sometime in October, This could really negatively affect the markets. That is if we can get through a lot of other situations in the world. keeping my eye very close on the things that are happening in Hong Kong right now. This could be a black swan event that could bring the world's economy down before we get to the Brexit. But you know, the Brexit's going to bring things down big time when that comes. So that's coming in October 29th. Now let's move on and let's take a look at the gold price today. Gold price starting to settle back down just a little bit. 1509.70 ask. It's up $2.20. Let's take a look at silver today. And we can see silver is at 1816 ask. It's down 16 cents on the day. This is only temporary as far as I'm concerned. And I think we're right in the middle of this price correction that I've been talking about. I was talking about it before it happened when silver was back up around $19 and I don't know, I think it was all the way up almost to the middle of the night, heading for $20. You know, now it's 1806. I expected this. Told you guys ahead of time that this correction was coming. Well, we're in the middle of the correction right now. I also put a bottom on the correction. I said probably it wouldn't go any lower than 17. It's at 1806 right now, and I think it's pretty much getting almost played out, this correction in silver and gold right now. I think it's pretty getting close to being played out. And in other words, there's not much energy, I don't think, left to the downside in this, because of the world's geopolitically, the world is an absolute mess right now. And gold and silver are reflecting what's happening from this mess, and I think this mess is going to start to heat up again pretty soon. And so it's going to be reflected in the gold and silver price. And I'm not talking down, I'm talking reflected as in gold and silver going up. You know, the Fed has already started purchasing bonds again. You know? And all these things are going to have a positive effect on gold and silver. Let's take a look now at cryptocurrencies. You know, cryptocurrencies is starting to pop a little bit again in price. We're looking at 266 billion, 69.8% Bitcoin dominance. That dominance is awfully high, but we're seeing the altcoins go a little bit up, a little bit more than the cryptocurrency, more than Bitcoin. So it's lowered. It was in the 70s, this Bitcoin dominance. It's lowered down to 69.8%. That's a good sign for me. That's a bullish sign. When you see the altcoins starting to take off first. Same thing with gold and silver. When you see silver starting to take off first, that's your bullish sign. You see gold take off first, not so much. Bitcoin is the same thing. Bitcoin is the gold of the cryptocurrencies compared to the altcoins, which basically are like silver and gold. They represent like silver's place in the space. Now let's take a look at the Dow Jones today. And I'm going to refresh the page here. And it's up 30 points on the day so far. It's 26,827. And it's up 30 points, 30.35 points. And this is on hopes of central bank stimulus. That's why the market's up today, because they're hoping for more free, cheap, easy money from the world's central banks. That's it. That's what the market runs on now. Not on fundamentals. It just runs on stimulus. Take a look now at crude oil. 57.44 today, and we're seeing a spike upwards in price, 92 cents up. That's 1.63% for sweet light crude at 57.44. This OPEC must be delighted, you know, the fact that the oil price is going up. Let's take a look at U.S. Treasuries. Now, you know, we're seeing a bounce in Treasuries, a bounce back in Treasuries. And, you know, I've been talking about that for a little while now. That we could see a bounce back in treasuries. Maybe it's just beginning, because these moves are rather large today. And we're looking at over 7 basis points in the U.S. 30-year. That's quite a large move, especially on the long end of the yield curve. You know, this treasury market could throw everything into chaos if these yields rise too quickly, too fast. You know, because this is the price money is at. This will pop the bubbles. This could pop the bubbles overnight, you know. Pop them in a day. All these bubbles, the everything bubble. We got bubbles everywhere in the economy, especially in real estate. Oh my goodness, the real estate bubbles that have formed. And they're very sensitive. Real estate's extremely sensitive to interest rates. Let's take a look now at the U.S. dollar index. We're looking at 98.27 on the U.S. dollar index. And the U.S. dollar index is easing back today a little bit. It's not a lot, just moving a little bit. It's moved 12 cents, 13 ticks it's moved. And it's 98.27 today. That's what we're looking at the U.S. dollar index. So we got a lot of problems in the world right now. Like I say, watch Hong Kong. Watch what's happening there. I mean, this could be something that's like almost like a black swan, because Hong Kong is the place where all world trade for China, basically most of it goes through Hong Kong. So we got to watch that situation carefully, what happens. And you guys have a great day the rest of the day. I'll tell you a little bit about the hurricane while I'm on the end of the show here. There was no real strong sustained winds in the storm when it hit here. But there was these rogue gusts. They were extremely powerful, and they would come about every 15 minutes. There would be a rogue gust. And they were hurricane force or greater, these rogue gusts. And that's what did the damage. One of them hit here. I could hear a tree snapping out in the woods, you know. And the house was just shaking. I mean, it was really shaking, almost like an A-grade ride at Disney World, you know, when the rogue gust hit. And it would last about 30 seconds to a minute, and then it would subdue again, and then it would go back to no sustained winds. But now we've got our power knocked out. I was one of the first ones to get power back on, thank goodness, because I'm on here this morning, you know. But there's still over 200,000 people in this province that do not have any power. But the linesmen that work on the power, you know, they're working overtime, they're doing their best, and they're doing a great job. And they're reducing that number every hour. There's more people coming back online. So we actually made out pretty good in Nova Scotia. From what I understand, we didn't have any not much fatalities, you know, or not any. But there was a big crane that fell over in the city, and it was a huge crane. It fell over and smashed. Anyway, listen, thank you guys for listening. Everything's okay. The hurricane season looks like it's starting to wind down a little bit now, and we'll catch you guys in the next show. Bye-bye.